Hi guys, and welcome to your Sons of the Cane YouTube channel. Today's lesson we're going to do something really different. So if you have a disability or you have a student with a disability, we're going to take you through my journey from white belt to black belt in Okinawan karate.
We run an Okinawan system of karate called the Kohai Kai, and what we're going to do is take our syllabus and adapt it, get the principles and how we can change it to suit an individual. So we'll be starting off at white belt, working our way through, and each week adding a little bit more and seeing how we can adapt it. First thing we're going to look at is doing the standard Okinawan karate punch. All seen this before, but doing it from a seated chair position. A couple of subtle little differences, but again, ways we can adapt it to suit the individual. So, first thing we'll look at is yori. How does that work in the chair?
It's a little bit...
Because that's the first thing we've got to look at.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to adjust your hand position, so it'd probably be better if you bring your hand slightly in.
To there?
To there, rather than getting it to here. So with the upper punch, obviously, I'd be aiming where my face is. You need to aim slightly higher, which in reality, but at the moment, just punch where it would be here. The important thing to remember is when we rotate, don't want the elbow out, and I don't want to see the fist this way. It's got to be at 45 angle, not the horizontal angle. Okay, you can't use the hip, but try and use the core rather than using the hip motion that we normally use. So we'll start with the right hand, nice and slow. Breathe in, breathe out, tense at the end. Okay, and again, as a piston, back, round, through to there. Okay, normally we'd say you want your arms to rub against the side, but because the chair's involved, you've got to have that slight adjustment on there. So the way I always imagine, I'm holding it in, as I get to the end, I'm crushing the end, so it's a loose fist. And again, you breathe in through the nose, halfway, breathing out through the mouth, tensing the entire core. Then dropping it down to where the solar plexus would be. Same principle. Here, again, because of this position, that will fit. If you rotate it here, you're going to stay in this position here. Your fist is going to collapse. So we want it in this position here. So again, same principle, you just change the height. Again, you're going to have a slight edge because of the chair. Through. And with a level punch, which would be your favourite, you can have it with a horizontal fist because you're going lower than the centre line of the core. So, as you would like to say, one punch. That's my line there. Again, solid stance, I will break solid. Same principle, you just change the height, again, and here.
So the break solid.
But again, you're still moving. But that's because you're generating power from the core, which will go moving through the chair.
Yeah.
Okay. As you can see, standard Okinawan punch, or karate punch, depending on your system, but we've had to adapt it. The arms can't rub alongside the body as you would normally because the chair gets in the way. Different chairs will have different problems. We've also had to change the height of the punches because obviously seated position, the angle is going to be slightly different as well. But these are things we can work on, adapt, and then again suit the individual to their ability and get the principle behind it, and the technique will follow. Right, moving on to basic blocks now. We have 4 basic beginner blocks that we start with. There is always the debate, are they blocks? We always have this debate. We always call them receiving techniques. So again, we're teaching the principle behind it, had to change them slightly again to suit the individual, to suit the chair, but again, always think about the principle behind the movement, not the actual finished technique. That way, anybody's individuality will suit the principle, how they're sitting, standing, whatever it is, and it will suit them. As long as the principle's there, again, the technique will follow. Okay, so the first block is Jodan UK upper rising block. So So from our yoi position, in here we'd have our fist on gallbladder 26, with their elbows dropped down. Some styles have their yoi down here. We're here. So it starts with the first move is bringing the arm across the face with a slight rotation of the forearm, punching on the outside. As this punches up, the first hand goes back to yoi and the fist and the forearm roll over at the end. So you'll be breathing in under this stroke and breathing out for the final pass. Again, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, tensing the core to give that focused bit of power as you're going through. So what we're after is a nice 90-degree angle above the head, not in front or straight or to the side. So you've got this good, strong angle to bear down and take pressure. So with this position, again, you're not going to have this full range of motion here. So regarding the face, the most attacks from here will be coming down. So where the block here would be straight through, when we're coming through here, blocking through, you've got a slight turn and the arm is being pushing away rather than pushing up, it's pushing out to the side. So that's how we would adapt for this. So again, if it comes down, blocks across, pushes away and rolls through at the end. And then you think about what your counter would be. But coming from the other side, doesn't matter which arm comes through, up, and then the rotation at the end with the leg. Okay, now if he was to counter from here, he can punch me as hard as he's like. He's at full range of extent on his arm, there's no power in it here, so we'll have to do something different for a counter on this one, which is what will come into the trapping later. But the emphasis is important on breathing in, breathing out. Again, some styles as they're doing this, they will turn the hips to the side, emphasise the power. We're bringing the power from the core rather from the hips.
With my disability, I'm able to move my hips. Some people are actually paralysed from the waist downwards or even higher. So adapting to my style, I can actually get the range of motion through, and then when I come up, I can actually lean over and push away. This would also give me just a little bit more range of movement for a strike, but as Chris says, it's not going to be that effective. By the time I've hit you, I'm almost at full range.
Okay. So again, key to this, practice. The second block we do is ude, we call chudan ude, okay? It's a middle forearm block. Again from the yoi, it raises up and it's this rotation of the arm. So we're breathing in, breathing out, focusing on the end, and ideally the fist is level with the shoulder, again with this nice triangle formation here. And with this one we do have a slight hip motion to bring it in. So it's bringing it round and rotation. The best way we think about this, you're not blocking. This is actually smashing the arm out of the way. So again, with here, as it comes through, it's more of a push because of the limited hip rotation that you've got on this. But again, the target is slightly different. Whereas before we'll be aiming more chest, here we'll be aiming slightly higher, and it's a downward motion rather than a straight motion. So again, other side, again. So always lead with the forearm, the soft bit, and get that twist at the end to actually knock it away. So most people block here. So what they've done, they block to here on the dead side, so any more slight motion, you push that across, I've got no attack from here. He blocks on this side, that side, I've still got motion. He's closed himself off. So always try and get the arm across the body, thus closing off your opponent, and they've got no counter from here, and you're in a more advantageous position.
As with the previous one, Chris was mentioning about keeping the fist about the same size of the height of the shoulder. But with the height difference here, believe it or not, sometimes you have to go a little bit higher. And also as you push towards the individual. And it just gives you a great distance off your centre line.
The third block, Chudan Soto, okay, for us is inside or outside block. The first motion is the same as what the previous block was. But this hand comes underneath, out, then in. So the first piece is fast, and this is done with dynamic tension. So you're breathing in, and breathing out. So this one especially is good for closing off somebody and then bringing into the wrist locks later on. So again, it's going to come across, block, and then you're pushing away. Again, I'm closed off. He's on the dead side, and there's not much I can do. Okay, if he was to block the other way, I'm in an advantageous position here. So always, again, keep saying this, try and get the arm across the body, get them across the dead side.
As Chris said with this one, it's one I use a lot. You bring the arm across, and as soon as you come here, you've got the grab, which we'll go through obviously as we go through the belts.
Right. The last block in the basic sequence is get amburai or lower sweep. For us, we would do this in shikanach. Some systems would be the kikanach, whatever suits your system. From Yoi, what we do is our knuckles lead, they go from one knee to the opposite knee. So this would be the part doing the knock. We would then wash our face, so as the arm comes down, as it reaches the wrist, we're rotating the wrist out and ripping that arm back into your position. And our knuckles of this hand will be facing forward. So again, it differs from start to start, but this is the way that we practice it. So it's cross and sweep. Now, people say it's a block for a kick. I'm not of that opinion, but you can find your own interpretations. We'll give examples later of how we use this manoeuvre.
Okay, from a chair it's going to be a little bit different. As you can see, my stance is pretty much static. So if Chris wants to come over, we'll do this from a grab position. So all I'm doing is just changing balance point, coming over the same principle and tearing through. That's all I'm going to be doing with this one at the moment.
Yeah. So again, you'll see this in a lot of styles, but later on when we start employing the locks, the twists and the pressure point, this move will come in a lot more prevalent, and you'll get a bit more deeper understanding of what it actually does for us. Okay, one thing we've noticed, there's quite a few videos on YouTube, people training and teaching people with disabilities, and this is the kind of thing that we see. So we have our student in the chair, and somebody will come up and attack them, and they'll give it some of this, and they'll be, oh! Yes, I've seen people flip and throw. You're not doing them any favours, you're not doing yourself any favours. So when you're training, train with a bit of intensity. I've got a little bit of body armour on. So say I come in, I've got a grab here, he can come in, I'm going to resist that.
Resist.
He's got a perfectly good cane, he can pull me down there and he can hit me. Okay, he can then whack me with the cane. He's not going to do it full power, but it's enough to see the chair's not moving. There's enough to push me back. This is quite sturdy body armour, we do recommend it, but don't train in a sympathetic manner is probably the best way to put it. Bit of realism, okay? You don't want to install false confidence in any student, especially if they're probably more likely to be a victim than anybody else because they have a disability.
It's really great to encourage people, but what you've got to remember is that they will go outside of your dojo and then they start to believe what they can do. And if you're throwing people around and they're letting you, the first time you come up against anyone in a combat situation and the first thing doesn't work, trust me, your confidence is going to go. It's not going to help you learn that. So guys, we hope you found this lesson interesting. It's going to be a big journey for me, and it's going to be over quite a few weeks, as you can probably guess. But it was interesting doing it from the wheelchair. All the martial arts I've done before, I've used 2 canes, or before my accident, I was able-bodied. We hope you liked this video. We'd love to hear from you, so any comments, stick them down there. If you found a different way of doing something, please write in the comment section. If you want anything seen, put it in there as well. Don't forget to subscribe, like us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, so give us a like on those as well.
Don't forget guys, every Saturday, 9 AM UK time, new video will be uploaded every week.